G'day, welcome to the final episode of Oly35mm. What was a year of user-based, quasi-empirical, cheap and cheerful videos on Olympus 35mm cameras. I've told you how I got into Oly35mm, how the germ started with the gifting of a 35 SP. But I'd like to share with you briefly today what got me into Olympus cameras, full stop. I'll take you back, if you're old enough, of course, to the early 1980s. A young photographic technician or a photographic processor, I wasn't actually a trained technician as such, was starting off in his career in the photographic industry, wanted to be a photographer in the long run, and got my first pay packet and decided that an Olympus camera was the one for me. Not the OM10. I decided I wanted an OM10, and I was lucky enough to live a couple of doors down from one of the distributors, somebody who worked for the distributor of Olympus cameras, and I managed to get this very camera wholesale. It cost me 2 months' wages, and fortunately it stayed in the family ever since. And when I decided I wanted an OM2 SP, actually I really wanted an OM4, but I couldn't afford it, this went to my father, and I traded in his a silver OM2N for an OM2 SP. And when my father passed away 11 years ago, it came into the hands of my daughter, and she still got it. So 30 years on, and the old OM2, I must admit, has never even had a service. The old OM2N is still running beautifully in there, and it's a fantastic camera. I absolutely loved it. I bought it with a 50mm 1.8 lens. My father bought the 50mm f3.5 macro, which is still one of my favourite lenses, and this is his original lens that he actually bought. It's so wonderful to have this in the family still, and my daughter absolutely loves it as well. So, on to the Oly35mm project. Okay, it's been a year. I've had a great time. I've gone 300% of the budget that I originally set. I have bought 70 cameras. 61 of them have had some sort of review or album put up on Flickr. I've had some doubles of them. I've had about 15% of my cameras have been faulty, which has been unfortunate. They've either been faulty when I've bought them, pitfalls of buying old cameras, or they've gone faulty while I've been using them. In fact, one that really disappointed me was probably one of the highlights of the Olympus 35mm year, the Oly35mm year, which was the AZ4, and unfortunately that stopped just the other day, and I've only run one roll of film through, so that's a bit of a disappointment. So, what are my thoughts on it from there? The highlights, the lowlights from there. Well, the highlights definitely has been my Google Plus account. I've had great feedback from a lot of people. My YouTube channel has just gone absolutely berserk. I've had 20,000 views, almost 9,000 of them on the OM1 alone. Absolutely incredible. Many people have commented, many people have liked. I've only had 4 dislikes in those 20,000 views. I think I've been very, very lucky, considering the way I burble on. The Flickr page has been great. 95 albums, 61 cameras, 30 Zuiko lenses. I never expected to collect those, except for the odd ones that I got with a body. So that's been fantastic as well, and may continue on into next year. I haven't decided yet. 2,255 photographs. Most of those, over 2,000 of them, have been taken with about I forget how many now, 100 and something films that I've had processed. Thanks very much to the folks from Big W at QV here in Melbourne. They've processed most of these films, and they've been absolutely fantastic. So big shout out to those guys. You want great film processing here in Melbourne, go to Big W in QV. Great support from filmneverdie.com.au, also Lo-Fico from there with Supply of Film. They've been great. There's been various people around that have helped. Cordy Cord Weaver has been great with straps. Lucky Straps up in Bendigo, local, have supplied me with a great strap. I've bought these. I haven't been given them, but nonetheless, these people have been giving me great service. Some lovely eBay people. Some great Gumtree people who I've actually got to meet and talk to, which has been really nice. People at the Box Hill Camera Market. It's all been good. So let's say, as far as the cameras are concerned, because that was what it was all about, what are the highlights? Well, then there's in no particular order really from there. The Infinity Twin with the two little lenses, I liked a real lot. I'm going to run out of space here. The XA4 I absolutely loved, and that will stay in the collection. The XA1 I couldn't stand. It was a pile of crap from there, and won't be staying in the collection. I didn't like it at all. The Mu 5 was, or Mu Metal from there, was a serious disappointment. Very poor image quality for a Mu. Then to set that off as an opposite, the little Mu 2 or the Stylus Epic as it was called in America. Fantastic little camera, has been really, really beautiful. Although my pick of the Muse probably has been the Mu Zoom 105. I've enjoyed that a lot and put more films through that than any of the other compact cameras that I've had. In the OM series, what did I like? Love the OM4 Ti, staying in the collection. My all-time favourite, the OM1, of course, that will stay in the collection, although this one will probably go, and I'll probably replace it with an OM1N at some stage or another. And a little bit of a turn-up. I wasn't expecting to like this as much as I did. The Olympus OM40, or the OMPC in America, has been a really great shooter, and I've put several rolls through. I'm not too sure how many, but this has been really, really nice to use. In the OMs, what didn't I like? I really didn't like the OM707, and there it was a bad design. Quite nice image quality. Had problems with the battery. The battery cover, which most owners seem to have. It was heavy, it was cumbersome, it wasn't easy to use, didn't like it at all. The OM30 was a disappointment. I had two of these, both of them were broken down. They had the visual indicators in the viewfinder of focus. Bit of a naff camera, and if I can open it up, it took five LR44 batteries. And there, buy yourself an OMG or an OM20 instead, or an OM10 with a manual adapter. The OM2 SP, I had one of these once before myself, and I wasn't impressed with it. The second time around, I still haven't been impressed with it, although I must admit I only bought this for the 50mm f3.5 macro lens that came with it in a camera swap. And my wonderful camera repairer, who also needs to get a mention here, Yoshi from Nagami Camera in Mirrabbark here in Melbourne, has been absolutely wonderful. Yoshi, you're an absolute legend. Thank you very much, mate. Now, he's worked on quite a few of my cameras and made silk purses out of sow's ears for me. Thank you very much. Okay, what else was I not impressed with? The Olympus AFL, another design disaster of Olympus's. Not that it was a bad camera, although I've not been able to get it to work to prove that. But it had two lithium batteries, which had to be replaced by a service centre. Not a smart move, Olympus. However, it was Andy Warhol's favourite, or one of his favourites. He loved these sorts of cameras. A shame that I could never get this one to work. The Pen series in general was a disappointment. Not that they're not good cameras, they're lovely little cameras, and when I've been able to get them to work, like the Pen EE2, I've absolutely loved them. I quite like the Pen EF as well. I had no end of trouble though. I got several of them that were broken. Some of them I managed to send back and get a refund for. I've had others repaired and they've gone faulty again. Unfortunately, my Pen FT, it's got to go in for repair yet again. That's the most expensive camera in the collection, and it continues to be so, which is a real shame. You know, it's an amazing piece of engineering, and it's very, very old, and it's just unfortunate. So the Pen series has been a disappointment to me, only because I really haven't been able to get them up and working, which is a real shame. The super zooms, there's nothing super about the super zooms at all. They're a disappointment, and a lot of the Mu series was quite disappointing as well. Not the little fixed lens ones, the little prime lenses, the Mu 1 and the Mu 2, or the Stylus Epic, have been great little cameras, especially the Mu 2. It's the pick of them, but it's not. The zooms have been a bit of a dead loss, with the exception of the Mu 3 wide 100 and the Mu 105, Zoom 105, which is that one I was telling you about before. I've been quite impressed with. The XA series, I've liked the XA series mainly. I didn't quite get into the rangefinder XA, but the 2, 3, and 4 I've really liked. As I said, the XA4 sorry, the XA1 I didn't like. The XA4 I loved a lot, and will stay in the collection. And the IS 3000, the L2 as well, or the IS 2000 it was known, but the IS 3000 has got to be the standout of all of the cameras that I've actually reviewed this year. It's big, it's bulky, but it's really easy to use. It's fantastically functioned. It's got some great accessories, all good quality. The only thing I didn't like about it is the flash. You have to buy the proper flash for it. But bar that, it's just been fantastic image quality, great to use. I've run more films through this camera than I have any other camera in the Oly35mm year. It's just been Mickey Mouse. I think I'm going to have to sell it because it's too big and I've got not enough space. But it was really hard to let this one go at the moment. Who knows? It may well stay in the collection. So the Oly35mm year is over. I may continue on with Zuiko lenses. I haven't quite decided yet. I've got about 30 lenses that I think I've got more to learn about them. But as far as the camera is concerned, that's it. For all of you who have supported me throughout the year, or even if you've only just started supporting me, I thank you very, very much. These have been definitely cheap and cheerful videos. I've burbled, I've ummed, I've erred, I've stumbled, I've got things wrong, I've had to correct myself several times. I've had to redo videos because I've got them completely wrong. But it's been an absolute hoot. And so for those of you who have supported me, a huge thumbs up. Thank you so much. Thank you for your kind comments. Thank you for your support. There's 3 people who I'll thank on Google Plus separately there, but you've all been great. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for the year. It's been an absolute hoot. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. I possibly won't see you again. Goodbye.